Hello and welcome to The Enlightened Classroom, where we discuss all things related to education, personal development, and navigating the modern world. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with one of my brightest students, Sarah. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here.
It's great to have you. So, Sarah, you're finishing up your final year of high school. How does it feel to be on the brink of graduation?
It's a mix of emotions, really. There's excitement about the future and what's to come, but also a bit of nervousness about leaving the familiar behind and stepping into a new chapter of life.
That's completely understandable. Graduation is a significant milestone. Looking back at your high school experience, what have been some of the most impactful moments for you?
I think some of the most impactful moments have been the ones where I've stepped out of my comfort zone. Joining the debate team, for example, was initially terrifying, but it ended up being one of the most rewarding experiences. It helped me build confidence and improve my public speaking skills.
That's fantastic. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is essential for growth. Speaking of which, how do you feel education has evolved during your time in high school, especially with the integration of technology?
The integration of technology has definitely changed the way we learn. Tools like online resources, educational apps, and virtual classrooms have made information more accessible. However, it's also been a challenge to stay focused with so many distractions just a click away.
That's a valid point. Technology can be both a boon and a bane. How do you manage to stay focused with all the digital distractions?
I try to set specific goals for each study session and use tools like website blockers to limit my time on social media. Also, taking regular breaks helps me stay refreshed and avoid burnout.
Great strategies. Goal setting and taking breaks are crucial for maintaining productivity. Now, let's shift gears a bit. What are your thoughts on the current state of education and how it prepares students for the future?
I think the education system has its strengths and weaknesses. It does a good job of providing foundational knowledge, but sometimes it feels like it doesn't fully prepare us for real-world challenges. There needs to be more emphasis on life skills, financial literacy, and critical thinking.
I couldn't agree more. Education should be holistic, preparing students for all aspects of life. As you look ahead to college and beyond, what are some of your aspirations and goals?
I aspire to study environmental science in college. I'm passionate about sustainability and want to work on solutions for climate change. My goal is to contribute to making the world a better place through innovative environmental policies and practices.
That's a noble goal, Sarah. Environmental science is a field with immense potential to impact the world positively. What inspired you to pursue this path?
It was a combination of factors. Growing up, I spent a lot of time outdoors and developed a deep appreciation for nature. Also, learning about the environmental challenges we face and the urgent need for action motivated me to contribute to this cause.
It's wonderful to hear that you're so passionate about making a difference. Passion is a key driver of success. What advice would you give to other students who are still figuring out their path?
I would say, don't be afraid to explore different interests and try new things. It's okay not to have everything figured out right away. Seek out experiences that challenge you and align with your values. And most importantly, follow what excites you and makes you happy.
Excellent advice. Exploration and following your passions are crucial for finding a fulfilling path. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or insights you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'd just like to say that education is more than just grades and exams. It's about growing as a person, developing skills, and finding your place in the world. Embrace the journey, stay curious, and never stop learning.
Wise words, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I've enjoyed our conversation.
Podcast Episode 2: The Role of Technology in Modern Education.
Welcome back to another episode of The Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're diving into the role of technology in modern education. Joining me is Alex, a tech-savvy student who has some interesting insights on this topic. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. Let's start by talking about how technology has influenced your educational experience. What changes have you noticed over the years?
Technology has definitely transformed the way we learn. From using interactive smartboards in class to accessing online resources and submitting assignments digitally, it's made learning more dynamic and engaging. It also provides us with tools to collaborate more effectively, even when we're not physically together.
Absolutely. The shift to digital platforms has been significant. How do you think these changes have impacted your learning outcomes?
I think it's been a mixed bag. On one hand, having access to a wealth of information online has been incredibly beneficial for research and expanding our knowledge. On the other hand, it can be overwhelming at times, and the constant connectivity can be distracting.
That's a great point. The digital age brings both opportunities and challenges. How do you personally navigate these challenges to stay productive?
I try to create a balanced routine. Using apps like Notion to organize my tasks helps a lot. Also, I make sure to take digital detoxes regularly to avoid getting too caught up in the online world. It's all about finding that balance between using technology as a tool and not letting it take over.
Balance is key indeed. With so many educational tools available, which ones have you found most useful in your studies?
I found Google Classroom to be really helpful for keeping track of assignments and deadlines. Quizlet is great for studying and memorizing terms, and Khan Academy has been a lifesaver for understanding complex subjects through its video tutorials.
Those are excellent resources. As we look towards the future, how do you envision technology further shaping education?
I think we'll see even more personalized learning experiences through AI and machine learning. These technologies can adapt to individual learning styles and pace, providing a more tailored education. Virtual and augmented reality could also play a bigger role, making learning more immersive and interactive.
The potential for personalized learning is exciting. It could revolutionize how we approach education. What skills do you think students will need to thrive in this tech-driven educational landscape?
Digital literacy will be crucial, not just in terms of using technology, but understanding how it works and its implications. Critical thinking and problem-solving skills will also be important, as we'll need to navigate a world with an abundance of information and complex challenges.
Agreed. Developing those skills will be essential for future success. What advice would you give to students and educators on integrating technology effectively in the classroom?
For students, I'd say embrace the tools that can help you learn more efficiently, but don't rely on them completely. It's important to develop strong foundational skills as well. For educators, I'd recommend staying updated on the latest technologies and being open to experimenting with new methods, but always keeping the focus on enhancing the learning experience rather than just using tech for the sake of it.
Wise advice, Alex. It's about finding the right balance and ensuring technology serves to enhance education. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It was great to be here.
Podcast Episode 3: Developing Life Skills Through Education.
Welcome to the Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're exploring how education can help develop essential life skills. With me is Emma, a student who's passionate about holistic learning. Welcome, Emma.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, Emma. Let's start by talking about what life skills you think are most important for students to develop.
I believe skills like critical thinking, communication, teamwork, and time management are crucial. These skills are not only important for academic success, but also for navigating everyday life and future careers.
Absolutely, these skills are vital. How do you feel your education has helped you develop these skills?
I've had some great opportunities through group projects, extracurricular activities, and leadership roles that have helped me build these skills. For example, being part of the student council taught me a lot about teamwork and communication.
Extracurricular activities can indeed provide valuable experiences. How can the education system better incorporate life skills into the curriculum?
I think there should be more focus on project-based learning and real-world applications. Classes that simulate real-life scenarios or involve community projects can be very effective. Also, teaching practical skills like financial literacy and personal development as part of the core curriculum would be beneficial.
Integrating practical skills into the curriculum is a great idea. What role do you think teachers play in helping students develop life skills?
Teachers play a huge role. They're not just imparting knowledge, but also mentoring and guiding students, encouraging critical thinking, promoting collaboration, and providing constructive feedback are ways teachers can help students develop these essential skills.
Mentorship is indeed a key aspect of teaching. Can you share an experience where a teacher significantly influenced your personal growth?
Sure. My English teacher in sophomore year really pushed me to think critically about the texts we read and encouraged me to express my thoughts confidently. This not only improved my analytical skills, but also boosted my self-esteem and communication abilities.
That's wonderful to hear. A supportive teacher can make a big difference. As you prepare to graduate, what life skills do you feel most confident in? And which ones are you still working on?
I feel quite confident in my communication and teamwork skills. However, I'm still working on time management and dealing with stress effectively. Balancing academics, extracurriculars, and personal time can be challenging.
It's great that you're aware of your strengths and areas for improvement. Time management and stress management are ongoing challenges for many people. What strategies do you use to manage your time and stress?
I use a planner to keep track of my tasks and deadlines, which helps me stay organized. For managing stress, I try to maintain a healthy balance by exercising regularly, practicing mindfulness, and ensuring I get enough sleep.
Those are excellent strategies. Maintaining a healthy balance is essential. What advice would you give to other students about developing life skills during their education?
My advice would be to take advantage of every opportunity to step out of your comfort zone. Participate in different activities, seek out leadership roles, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Each experience is a chance to learn and grow.
Fantastic advice, Emma. Embracing challenges and learning from them is key to personal growth. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It was a pleasure to be here.
Podcast Episode 4: The Future of Careers in a Changing World.
Welcome to another episode of The Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're discussing the future of careers in a rapidly changing world. Joining me is James, a student with a keen interest in future career trends. Welcome, James.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, James. Let's start by talking about how you see the future of careers evolving. What changes do you anticipate?
I think we're going to see a lot more emphasis on technology and digital skills. Automation and AI will transform many industries, and jobs that require creativity, problem solving, and emotional intelligence will become more valuable. Remote work is also likely to remain a significant aspect of many careers.
Those are insightful predictions. The workplace is indeed evolving rapidly. How are you preparing yourself for these changes?
I'm focusing on developing a strong foundation in digital skills and staying adaptable. I'm learning to code, improving my data analysis skills, and keeping up with the latest tech trends. Additionally, I'm working on soft skills like communication and adaptability, which are crucial in any field.
That's a smart approach. Combining technical and soft skills is essential. What resources or strategies do you find most effective for learning new skills?
Online courses and tutorials have been really helpful. Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, and Khan Academy offer a wide range of courses. I also follow industry blogs and participate in online communities to stay updated and network with professionals.
Those are excellent resources. Lifelong learning will be crucial in the future. What advice would you give to students who are unsure about their future career paths?
I'd advise them to explore different fields and gain a variety of experiences. Internships, volunteering, and part-time jobs can provide valuable insights into different careers. It's also important to stay curious and open-minded. Your interests and strengths will guide you towards the right path.
Exploring different fields is indeed valuable. How do you think schools can better prepare students for the future job market?
Schools can incorporate more career-oriented programs and practical experiences. Offering courses that teach digital skills, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy would be beneficial. Partnerships with local businesses and professionals can also provide students with real-world insights and mentorship opportunities.
Those are great suggestions. Real-world experiences and practical skills are crucial. As you look ahead, what are your career aspirations, and how do you plan to achieve them?
I'm interested in pursuing a career in data science or cybersecurity. I plan to achieve this by continuing my education in these fields, gaining hands-on experience through internships, and staying updated with industry developments. Networking and finding mentors will also be key components of my strategy.
Those are exciting fields with great potential. Your proactive approach will certainly help you succeed. What challenges do you foresee in your career journey, and how do you plan to overcome them?
One challenge is staying ahead in such fast-evolving fields. To overcome this, I plan to commit to continuous learning and be adaptable. Another challenge is the competitive job market, but I believe building a strong portfolio and networking will help me stand out.
Staying adaptable and continuously learning are excellent strategies. What final thoughts or advice would you like to share with our listeners about preparing for future careers?
I'd say, don't be afraid to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. The world is changing rapidly, and being flexible and willing to learn new things will be your greatest asset. Focus on building a diverse skill set and stay curious.
Wise advice, James. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It was a pleasure.
Podcast, Episode 5, Balancing Academics and Extracurriculars.
Welcome back to the Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're discussing how to balance academics and extracurricular activities. Joining me is Lily, a student who excels in both areas. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. Let's start by talking about your experiences. How do you manage to balance your academic responsibilities with extracurricular activities?
It definitely takes some planning and time management. I use a planner to keep track of my assignments, tests, and extracurricular commitments. Prioritizing tasks and setting realistic goals for each day helps me stay on top of everything.
Planning and prioritization are key. Can you share an example of how you effectively balanced a particularly busy period?
Sure. During the basketball season, I had to juggle practice, games, and schoolwork. I made a schedule that included dedicated study times around my practices and games. I also communicated with my teachers and coaches about my commitments, which helped me manage both responsibilities more effectively.
Communication is essential indeed. How do you ensure that you don't get overwhelmed and still have time for yourself?
It's important to listen to your body and mind. I make sure to include downtime in my schedule, even if it's just a short break. Practicing self-care, whether it's reading, spending time with friends, or just relaxing, helps me recharge and avoid burnout.
Self-care is crucial. What benefits do you think participating in extracurricular activities brings to your overall development?
Extracurricular activities have taught me valuable life skills like teamwork, leadership, and time management. They also provide a sense of community and help build friendships. Balancing different commitments has made me more disciplined and resilient.
Those are significant benefits. How do you decide which extracurricular activities to participate in?
I choose activities based on my interests and passions. It's important to enjoy what you're doing, as it makes the commitment more manageable and fulfilling. I also consider how each activity can help me grow and develop new skills.
Passion and growth are excellent criteria for choosing activities. How do you handle situations where you might have to prioritize one commitment over another?
When conflicts arise, I assess the importance and urgency of each commitment. Sometimes I might need to prioritize an important academic deadline over an extracurricular event or vice versa. Being honest with myself and others involved helps in making these decisions.
Honesty and assessment are key. What advice would you give to students struggling to find a balance between academics and extracurriculars?
My advice would be to plan ahead and stay organized. Don't be afraid to ask for help from teachers, coaches, or peers. It's also important to know your limits and not overcommit. Focus on quality rather than quantity in your activities.
Excellent advice, Lily. Planning and knowing your limits are crucial. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or tips for our listeners?
I'd just like to say that it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. Finding balance is a continuous process, and what works for one person might not work for another. Stay flexible and keep trying different strategies until you find what works best for you.
Wise words, Lily. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It was a pleasure to be here.
Podcast Episode 6, The Importance of Mental Health in Education.
Welcome to the Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're discussing the importance of mental health in education. Joining me is Maria, a student advocate for mental health awareness. Welcome, Maria.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Let's start by discussing why mental health is so important for students.
Mental health is crucial because it affects every aspect of our lives, including our ability to learn and perform academically. When students are struggling with mental health issues, it can impact their concentration, motivation, and overall well-being.
Absolutely. Mental health is foundational to effective learning. How do you think schools can better support students' mental health?
Schools can support mental health by providing resources like counseling services, creating a supportive and inclusive environment, and integrating mental health education into the curriculum. It's also important to reduce the stigma around mental health and encourage open conversations.
Reducing stigma is key. Can you share an experience where you or someone you know benefited from mental health support in school?
Sure. A friend of mine was going through a tough time and started seeing the school counselor. The support she received helped her develop coping strategies and improved her emotional well-being. It made a big difference in her ability to focus on her studies and feel more positive about school.
That's a powerful example. Access to support can make a significant impact. What strategies do you use to maintain your own mental health while balancing academic pressures?
I make sure to take breaks and practice self-care regularly. Activities like meditation, exercise, and spending time with loved ones help me stay grounded. I also prioritize sleep and try to maintain a healthy balance between schoolwork and personal time.
Those are excellent strategies. Maintaining a balance is crucial. How can peers support each other in maintaining good mental health?
Peers can support each other by being empathetic and non-judgmental listeners. Encouraging friends to seek help if they're struggling and being there for them in difficult times can make a big difference. Creating a supportive and understanding community is essential.
Empathy and support from peers are indeed vital. What role do you think teachers play in supporting students' mental health?
Teachers play a significant role by creating a positive and inclusive classroom environment. They can also be approachable and open to discussing mental health issues, providing students with guidance and resources. It's important for teachers to recognize signs of distress and offer support when needed.
Creating a supportive environment is crucial. How do you think the pandemic has impacted students' mental health, and what can be done to address these challenges?
The pandemic has increased stress and anxiety for many students due to isolation, uncertainty, and changes in routine. To address these challenges, schools can offer more virtual mental health resources, facilitate social connections, and provide flexibility in academic expectations to accommodate different needs.
The pandemic has indeed posed significant challenges. Offering flexibility and support is essential. What advice would you give to students who are struggling with their mental health?
My advice would be to reach out for help and not try to handle everything on your own. Whether it's talking to a counselor, a teacher, or a trusted friend, seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Also, take time to care for yourself and engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation.
Seeking support is crucial. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us, Maria. It's been a valuable conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'm glad to be part of this important discussion.
Podcast Episode 7: Embracing Diversity and Inclusion in Education.
Welcome to the Enlightened Classroom. I'm your host, Mr. Thompson, and today we're discussing the importance of diversity and inclusion in education. Joining me is Ahmed, a student advocate for inclusivity. Welcome, Ahmed.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. Let's start by discussing why diversity and inclusion are important in education.
Diversity and inclusion are important because they enrich the learning environment. When students from different backgrounds and perspectives come together, it promotes understanding, empathy, and critical thinking. It also prepares students to thrive in a diverse world.
Absolutely. A diverse learning environment benefits everyone. How do you think schools can promote diversity and inclusion effectively?
Schools can promote diversity and inclusion by implementing inclusive curricula that reflect different cultures and perspectives, providing diversity training for staff, and creating safe spaces for open dialogue. It's also important to celebrate diversity through events and initiatives that highlight different cultures and experiences.
Inclusive curricula and open dialogue are crucial. Can you share an experience where you saw the positive impact of diversity in your school?
Sure. In our history class, we had a project where we researched and presented on different cultural histories. It was eye-opening to learn about the contributions and struggles of various communities. This project sparked meaningful conversations and helped us appreciate each other's backgrounds more deeply.
That's a great example. Learning about different cultures fosters mutual respect. How do you think students can contribute to a more inclusive school environment?
Students can contribute by being open-minded and respectful towards others. Participating in or organizing diversity clubs and events can also make a difference. It's important to stand up against discrimination and support peers from marginalized communities.
Student involvement is indeed powerful. How can teachers foster a more inclusive classroom?
Teachers can foster inclusivity by using diverse teaching materials, being mindful of different learning needs, and encouraging all students to share their perspectives. Creating a classroom culture where everyone feels valued and heard is essential.
Valuing every student's voice is crucial. What challenges do you think schools face in becoming more inclusive? And how can they overcome these challenges?
One challenge is addressing unconscious biases and stereotypes. Schools can overcome this by providing ongoing training and creating policies that promote equity. Another challenge is ensuring representation in the curriculum and staff. Schools can work towards this by actively seeking diverse voices and perspectives.
Addressing biases and ensuring representation are important steps. What advice would you give to students who feel excluded or marginalized in their school environment?
My advice would be to speak up and seek support. Talk to trusted teachers, counselors, or diversity coordinators. Join or create student groups that promote inclusivity. Remember, you have the right to feel safe and respected in your school.
Seeking support and creating inclusive groups are great strategies. What final thoughts or advice do you have for our listeners on embracing diversity and inclusion?
Embracing diversity and inclusion is an ongoing process. Stay curious, educate yourself about different cultures and perspectives, and be an ally to those who face discrimination. Small actions can lead to big changes in creating a more inclusive community.
Wise advice, Ahmed. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It was a pleasure to be here.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the Enlightened Classroom. We'll be back soon with more discussions on education and personal development. Until then, keep learning and stay curious.